Hi folks, welcome to the session. Actually, my name is Srijit. I'm working as a software engineer. Not working, but I'm actually running a startup. We are building a product. It's a mobile app. I mostly do Python and some other languages use, and I also use JavaScript. I mean, I used to use JavaScript. For this project, we choose to go with JavaScript, as we will be building the backend using JavaScript, the front end using JavaScript. So we chose to go with JavaScript. In the previous classes, Logesh and Deva has discussed the HTML, CSS, and all the basic stuff related to the web. I hope you are familiar with like HTML, CSS, and stuff, and how the web works actually. The client side stuff and server side, and how the client and server communicates. I actually don't know how much do you are you guys familiar with any language like. Okay. Are you guys familiar with any kind of language? I mean, it could be C, C++, or anything like Java or JavaScript. Do you guys have any basics? It's okay. You can open the mic and say, I'm just, you should, you don't need to,
Yes,
you know. Yeah. Who's that? Yeah, say. Uh, I mean, your voice is not clear. What did you say?
C++,
Uh,
Python. Yes.
Okay, that's great. So anyone here having no introduction about language, like any languages, please raise your hands. It's okay. It's okay to not have any introduction. But if anyone is here, okay, that's great. Okay. So what I'm planning to do today is like I'm not going to go through the HTML, CSS, and stuff again. So they have already discussed it very well, and so we can go ahead with the JavaScripting. So I'll be telling. I mean, I'll be discussing before that. Like while I'm discussing the thing, and if I'm, you can, if you are free to stop me there, and you can ask me questions. And it's not a problem at all. So what we are planning to do is like we are planning to understand the document object manipulation, which is DOM. I mean, like we are in this session we are gonna actually use the JavaScript to manipulate our HTML and the web. Whatever we see in the web page, we are trying to manipulate it using the JavaScript. So we basically use JavaScript for all these tasks. See, when you see this Google Meet or any kind of web applications, it has some certain functionalities. So all these functionalities are performed by writing some kind of code. Okay, all these things. This might use JavaScript or any language, and it doesn't matter which language you're learning. It's always about the logic. Initially, if you learn one language, then you can apply the same logic everywhere. So today we will be learning about JavaScript. So let me go through it. So JavaScript is a interpreter language. So it's a some people call it as like a scripting language because we can, we are writing the script to manipulate the web pages, etc. So let me give. Are you able to see my screen?
No.
No, you
No,
said
sir.
no or yes. Oh, so
No,
okay.
sir.
Like I'm not sharing my screen. Wait 1 second. Uh, can you see it now?
Yes, sir.
You don't need to call me sir. You can call my name, and it's okay. It's a bit uncomfortable if you call me sir. So it's like the thing is, whatever you see here, these are all objects. You can see this is a button, right? You have learned this. Oh, 1 second. So the thing is like you can see a button here, you can see a text input here, you can see some other the features here. This is a web page, right? So we know other web pages and everything. So what you're seeing is like HTML contents which is styled using CSS, but which has some properties, which has some functionalities to do. When I click this new meeting, it will create actually a new meeting. So what is going behind this scene? When you click a button, an actual API call is triggered and something is done in the backend, and which actually generates a new meeting link, and a new meeting is created. That is done using the JavaScript part, or any other language which is used in the backend. So here we will be using JavaScript, so we will be talking about JavaScript only. So basically, so initially I will go through some manipulations, like we will be writing some JavaScript code to manipulate some HTML documents, and you don't need to worry about it. You will not so if you're not familiar with it, you won't understand what is happening. But then after that, we will go through step by step and what everything is, and we will go through JavaScript basics. So I don't know why I'm doing it like that, but just bear with me for a few seconds. So let me open my. This is you're familiar with code editors, right? So the one I'm familiar with is like Visual Studio Code, so I'll be using it. So what we'll be doing is like we will be doing some kind of basic thing. So here I have a okay. Let me. I'm just copy pasting a basic HTML document. Okay, so I will let me tell you what this thing is. Okay, I'll hide the script part for now. So okay, these things. Okay, can you see my? You can see it, right? So let me go live. This is a basic HTML document. This is nothing is linked to it. You can see a label. Enter a player's name. It has an input field to enter the player's name, and we have a button here, and the button is named as player one. And what we want to do is like we want to build a web page which in which I'm not going to use CSS here to style this thing because our purpose is to learn JavaScript. So I'm not going to go into CSS. So our purpose is to like enter a player's name in an input field, and when I click the button player, I actually want that name to be displayed in the button. Let me go to the page first, then you will see what it is. Uh, so, so this is a basic page. You can see it. This is what we have created. Okay, can you see it? It's a label and a player's name, and there's an input field. You can see anything. You can enter something, and there's a button. It's a basic HTML stuff. And when I click this button, I want something to happen. Okay, I want something to happen. But now nothing happens because we only have HTML here. We cannot do anything. When I click the button, nothing happens. So I want to apply JavaScript here. So what I can do is like I can either write the JavaScript inside this file, I mean, in this index.html file, inside script tag, or I can write the JavaScript in a separate file, something like a script.js. First, I will write it inside the HTML file itself. So I'm copy pasting the code so that we don't waste our time, and we only have a like couple of minutes left to complete. So this is what you can see is the script tag, and in HTML documents we write the JavaScript inside the script tag. You can see that it's an open script tag and closing tag, and inside that what we wrote is JavaScript. And I know you might get confused about what we wrote here, but you don't need to worry about it. We will go through what it is, and no need to worry about it at all. So I will just give a brief. It's like we are saying that we need this is an HTML document. We know that this is a doc type of HTML, right? We want this document. We want to manipulate this document. But what I say when by manipulating is like here is nothing is added here. I want to add this name here. Player one name is test in the button. When I click this button, I want to manipulate this button. Okay, so that is the I want to get this document. Get element by ID. Change now name button. What is this? Like you can see the button here. The ID is change name button. Okay, I want to I'm using a add event listener, which is a method to manipulate the document. I want to manipulate this HTML document, and we have some inbuilt methods to manipulate the. I mean, on click something like on click. What it does is like when I click something, it triggers some function. So similarly, what we are going to do is like adding an event listener. On click, I have to trigger this function. Which function? The function is like I'm assigning a name to like see. I'm inputting some value here. Okay, this is the value is test, and I want this value, the value which I inputted, to be stored in a variable. The variable is named as name. And if the name is present, I want to change the button's text content to this thing. I mean, this thing plus that variable's name. And this dollar sign and inside this curly braces, what it does is like it dynamically updates the value of this thing, whatever the content is present inside. So wait, let me actually execute this thing. Then you will, I will say something like, yeah, tester. So when I click this button, actually you can see the button actually, some text is added here. Some kind of manipulation happened here. That is done through JavaScript. Okay. You can also do it like you can write this thing in a separate file, and something like script.js, and this thing actually works the same. And in, okay, so for that, what we will do is like, so I will be saying, so first let me copy this thing, the whole code present here. Let me copy this thing to script.js, and I will be linking that this file. This file is in the same directory level, right? So I will be linking this directory's path to this HTML document inside the script tag. Okay, so I'll be saying it's like the source, which is like, sorry about this thing. So the source is like index to like script.js. Okay, so we know that like now this HTML document is linked to this JavaScript file, and I can write the JavaScript here, and this works as same as before. I hope so. Something like test again. Yes, this worked. See, our JavaScript is written completely in a different file, and we link that file to this HTML document, and it works fine. This is the very basics, and we watch Netflix and any other things. That might be using some kind of wrap of JavaScript, like a React, a library, something like a React to build the things. But what happening in the hood is this thing. This is the very basics. You must know the basics. Okay,
Excuse
so
me, sir.
yeah, so if you're not able to understand this thing, and it's
Hello.
okay, you will understand it later on. So okay, so this is what, so the reason why I actually tried to manipulate the dom before teaching you JavaScript is because like you will understand what we can do with JavaScript before learning JavaScript. That is like, I will do one more example, which is like we will be having with this thing. I have actually some code here, so I will
Hello.
just simply copy.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, I have a doubt in a code that when will that else part will execute?
Which one?
The JavaScript in the JavaScript, when will that else part will execute?
Okay, the else part. Else part is when if I don't enter a name. Okay, let me. Okay, the else part is like, you noticed it. That's really awesome. You didn't see that I didn't enter any name in the input field. Okay, and it says please enter a name. Can you see that? I didn't enter any name, and I clicked the button, and I actually told the Java in the JavaScript. I told the thing to actually display the name whatever I entered here. And if I'm not entering any name, I'm alerting the user to enter a name. You can see
Yeah,
that here,
yeah,
right?
fine.
If name
Yeah,
is
fine.
yeah, this thing. Else, please enter a name. That is an alert. Alert is another thing used in to modify the documents. So that is it, and we will go like one more example, and then we will go to the JavaScript basics. So this is it. Let me. So this is another basic HTML document. I can see it. Okay, it's like a label is like weather. What's the weather type today? And we'll be making a choice of sunny, rainy, snowing, or if I choose sunny, and I want some kind of paragraph to be written over here. This is the document. Okay, this is the document. This is the HTML document. I want to manipulate this document. What this time I want to manipulate what? I want to manipulate the paragraph. I want to add something to the paragraph. Okay, so here you can see the p tag is empty. There is nothing inside the p tag, but I actually have a p tag. But I want to write the JavaScript so that the JavaScript will actually insert some content in the p tag, which is the paragraph. Okay, when I select, okay, so we will be so the script for that will be um okay, don't worry about the script. Actually, if I write it, it will take some time, so we don't need to waste the time. We will go through it later. It is pretty basic. I will tell you what the script is like. It is saying that we are actually selecting the query in the DOM. We have a lot of methods like query selector. Query selector, what does is like it select the certain elements like the p or the select. Here we have say elements like select, p, and stuff like that. So we are actually assigning it to a constants. Constants are similar to variables. Okay, so my constants will have constant values which doesn't change. So here we are assigning it to a select constant, and then we are assigning the paragraph to a para constant. Then I'm telling that okay, the function is actually simple. You can first let go through the function. The function is if the choice is sunny, I want the paragraph para dot extend, and these all are methods. Okay, these all are methods in the document object manipulation to manipulate the documents. I want if the weather is sunny, I want the paragraph to return write this thing. Else, if the choice is rainy, I want the para to be written as this thing, and likewise. So this is the function. Okay. So when should this function be triggered? I want this function to be triggered when some change happens. So here in this case, when somebody selects something, I want to trigger this function. This is a function. I hope you're familiar with what a function is. So I want to trigger this function when some change happens. So that is what we have written here. Select.add event listener. Event listener listens to event changes. In JavaScript, we say event changes when something happens somewhere in the web page. So I'm telling that when some kind of change happens, call this method. This is the name of the method. Sometimes we interchange the name of function with methods. Both are same. I mean, technically. So so we are saying call this thing, call this function when a change happens. Let me try this thing. Okay, the reason why it is not working is because we haven't linked this JavaScript file to this HTML file. So let us link this thing. So let what we have learned is like how to link this thing. It's like we can simply see script sources. What is like that's like I'm telling where the script is lying in this thing. That is it. So this should work, and let's try it. This isn't working. Why is it not working? Wait. Okay, this happens. It happens. Nothing to worry about it. We can fix it. Um, why is it? It should work. Okay. The script is the script. Okay, I said it's a script, and if something happens, um, why is it okay? So, I have properly linked it, right? 1 second. Let me. One second. It should work actually. What some silly stuff that's it's okay. It is working right now. See, I don't know what happened. Why it was some kind of bug, not bug maybe. It took some time to load. That's why it didn't work. Okay, right now it is working. You can see if the choice is sunny, it should display what we have written over there. It is nice sunny day outside, and it works. Okay, so I hope you understood what this thing is. So let me come back to the meet again. So we are moving to JavaScript, right? So any questions or anything like any suggestions about the way it is? So anybody, does anyone have any kind of queries or something? Hello, it's okay. Somebody please turn on the mic. Can you go? Oh, okay. Okay, I will go a little slow. And do you want me to repeat anything which I have covered so far?
No, it's fine.
Uh, okay. Do you want me to repeat something? Anything? Okay, I will. Okay, I will just simply explain what I did here. So what we did is like we have two files. One is index.html, which has some basic HTML written over here, which is actually the thing is like எனக்கு தமிழ் தெரியும் நான் கொஞ்சம் கொஞ்சம் தெரியும் so if you have some kind of doubt you can ask that in Tamil and I will understand. I will try to understand. So the thing is like here we have an HTML document here. So we have some basic label over here, and we have some values to select. They're like choices like sunny, rainy, snowing, overcast. And we want the JavaScript to what the JavaScript to do is like when the user actually select some option, we want the JavaScript to perf- like um, write this paragraph dynamically. Dynamically means like based on the selection we have to change this paragraph. That is what we are doing here. So in the script.js what we have written is like the code for that. It's okay you don't understand this thing, I know, and you haven't learned JavaScript yet, but I'm just giving you introduction about how this thing works. So we have just written some one function. This function has different. If the choice is sunny, we will return. We will write this paragraph to text content to be this thing, and else the choice is rainy. We will write this thing, and this is just some conditionals like if basic conditionals. Okay, so and though this method which is like para dot text content, the para is like how is this element JavaScript actually identifying the paragraph element. Here we have written that document dot query selected p, which does is which select this p, document dot query selector p, and that is assigned to the variable para, I mean the constant para. And we are saying that manipulate this para dot text content to this thing. It's okay. It's okay. We will go through it, and if you don't understand it, it's okay. Any questions? Any questions? Anything? If you have okay, I assume that there is no doubts. And any suggestions? Like if I know like I sometimes I speak a bit faster, and if I'm speaking too fastly, you can stop me and say that I'm speaking faster than I already said. And I'm sorry about that. So okay, so I have some kind of thing here. We have discussed about dome. Without, I know, like it's okay. The document, like this is actually the structure of the dome. It's like imagine. Okay, so I will draw this thing. That is a free form. Yeah, something is not working. Yeah, there is a connection. Actually, I don't know how to draw it. Okay, I know how to draw it. Yeah. This will take time if I draw it. This document has a connection. We are saying what type of document. The document, the web pages can be of different type of documents, not just HTML. It can be XML. I assume so. And the documents can be different types. So most of the times, so generally we will be using HTML. I mean, everyone will be using HTML. So the document is HTML, and the HTML will be having different type of contents, right? It will be having a head. Okay, it will be having a head, and it will be having a body, and I don't know how to. I just don't care about my this thing here. So it will be having a the head will be having what? The head will be having a title, right? The head will be having a title, and all the metadata stuff goes inside the head, which was already discussed by Logesh or Deva in the previous classes. So you might know this already. So and it will also have body, right? Body will have what? Body will have p tags or maybe href, which is like the links, or maybe it will have something like h1s and h tags, right? So these are document objects. The thing which I was discussing about, these are the objects of this document. And we want to manipulate each of these things. Like the title, we want to manipulate. We might want to manipulate the paragraph contents. We might want to manipulate the H1 or the image. We can manipulate anything in an HTML document using JavaScript. Okay, that's what we usually do. So okay, so you might have some kind of confusion that just like any other programming language, are we going to run this JavaScript only inside the console, only inside the browser? No, we have some other ways to run this as a server-side language. We can use JavaScript to develop backend applications. I will be going through this before. Let me also give you something like, let me play with the console actually. I don't know how to open the console here. Yeah, I know. So this is the console. I'm using Mac, so I am using Command Option I to open the console. You might have a Command Shift I or Control Shift I, some kind of way, or you can right click and inspect the thing. Then you'll be seeing console here. Here you can actually write JavaScript. I mean, to practice JavaScript or to manipulate this thing, you can write JavaScript here. It actually, once you clear this session, it will be gone. There is nothing gonna happen, like just playing around it. And this actually, you should be familiar with this Java, this thing, like the inspect element thing. So here we will be having networks will be actually deciding what kind of calls are going to the backend, and everything you can see. If I open this thing, and if I open the network tab, you can see that can you hear me now? Hello. I actually hit something and I was out of the meet. I'm sorry about that. Um, I'm sorry about that, and I was out of the meet. Sorry. So something happened. Just let me share the screen once again. This is very bad. So can you see my screen, Ryan? What is this? What is happening? Why are you throwing thumbs up? Like we can somebody turn on the mic and say, are you guys able to hear this thing?
Yes, sir, we can able to see.
Yeah, yes,
Yes,
sir.
able.
You don't need to say sir. This is like too uncomfortable for me. You can call my name. So okay. So we will be doing like once again this console we have here. We can play around with JavaScript over here. So in JavaScript we have as like uh, any other programming language, we will be having variables, data types. We will be having objects, functions, if conditions, like the conditional statements and everything. So, I mean, we are not going to write it here, but let me tell, for the sake of showing that we can write it here, I will do something like, I will say let name equal to, if I say name like, that's fine, Srijit, and if I press enter, something is happened. We will like, name is a string, that the string should be written inside quotes. So this is my name. So if I say it like this variable, I have actually defined a variable here, and I have initialized its value with my name. So and if I can actually print this thing, I can actually know. See, this is what the variable is like. So you can play with around the console if you want, but we will be doing it in the what for that. So okay, so what we need is node. Like a node is what gonna compile this I mean this like yeah, run this JavaScript in our machine. So we need node. You have to install node. I will show you how to install node. So going along, we also require node to complete this project. So anyways, you have to install node. So you can just simply search node.js and you will see like simple installations like Node.js for some depending upon which operating system you're using. If it's Mac, you can just simply copy paste this command in the terminal and it will install it. And if you're using Linux, it will be very similar, the same commands. And if you're using Windows, this is some sort of way to install it. I'm not familiar how to do it. You can go through it and find how to install Node. Okay, so the thing to nowadays is like install Node. Okay, Install Node.js. I'll if you can find it. I mean, I don't need to actually give you the link, but I'll just give you fine. You can. I'll copy paste it. So this happening, man. Where is my meat? Okay, sorry. Never mind. I'm actually sometimes I'm out of my mind. So this is what I copied it actually, right? What is why is that? This is the link. Actually, you can just go through it. I'm not gonna copy it. Okay, this is the link. You can go there and download the node. And to download node, you actually need NVM. NVM is actually node version manager. Node is like actually the engine, the JavaScript engine, which actually compares the JavaScript. We need that thing. We need that thing to run the JavaScript in the backend or in the system or any other way, other than the browser. Browser we don't need. We don't need node. In the browser we have the browser will do it, but in the machine we need node. So you can install the node, install nvm, and node actually has package managers, which is npm, and we will use npm later on in the classes. So right now you don't need to bother about it, just install it. And if you are finding some trouble installing it, you can come to the discord and copy there or whatever we are getting. We will go through it, we will fix it, no matter which operating system you're using. So once we have installed the node, you can open the terminal, and if you write like node minus minus version, it depends. I mean, I can see the. Okay, are you able to see this thing? Let me. I will. Okay, I think you can see this thing, right? Since node is installed in my machine, if I like check the node version, you can see it's like also like, yeah, node is installed. So yeah, so now we will be what okay, okay. So what I'm gonna do is like I'm gonna run that script. I'm gonna run some script here. Okay, I'm gonna delete everything. Okay, no, I'm not gonna delete. I'm gonna, if you want, okay, I will write something like main.js. This is another JS file we gonna write. Okay. Just don't care about the index. No, don't care about the other script.js. Just only care about this file. Okay. Main.js. We're gonna learn what JavaScript is. So in JavaScript, we will be having as like another programming language, we'll be having variables, which is the very basic thing. Variables can be defined in using two ways. Like either we can use the keyword let, or we can use the keyword var. Mostly people use let. I mean, I use let. So X is like, I will say this is X. So I'm saying that X is a variable. Variable, see, if somebody who doesn't know what variable is like a container, and container, you are putting some value inside this container. Okay. In this case, can are you able to see my screen?
It's
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Yeah. So variable is like a container. You will be putting some value inside this container. Okay. So here the value is digit and X is the container. Okay. In JavaScript we have different types of data types. Or one will be, we have strings here. We have strings. We have like integer like integers we called as nums. So we have integers here. We have floating point numbers here. We have floating point numbers here, and so I'm actually my background is actually Python and Rust. So sometimes I write some Python syntax come to this thing. So just bear with me if I make any kind of mistakes or something. So we can actually, it's okay, it doesn't matter, we can fix it. So okay, so that's the basic thing. We will be having. So I just declared a variable. So I want to actually print this variable. Let me actually, if I say console, what this console.log does is like similar to the anyone who have used Python or C, in C plus we say C out, something like, right. In Python we say print. This is like similar statement which can actually print something to the screen, to the console. So here I am saying I want to print this variable. So how I'm going to run this file? I'm going to run this file. So to run this file, I actually actually the file name is main.json. So I actually the commands. So okay, don't care about the things. If you're not familiar with terminal, don't care about it. So I should be in the same directory as this. Okay, I will just simply use this VS Code terminal. That will be more comfortable. What the hell? Why is my terminal not open? Where is my 1 second? Okay, it should work. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah. So here in the terminal, we can. Okay. Do I need to increase the screen size? No, okay, I will do it. Fine. Don't worry. I don't know how to do it. Is it? Are you able to see? So I'm going to print this thing here in the console. So I can do you do that using Node. Okay. So I can uh so I can wait 1 second. I'm having one. Okay, sorry for the thing. So the thing is like we have to run this main.js. What we can do is like I can say node and the name of the file which is main.js, and that run the code which is like this thing just return my name to the console. Okay, so I think I'm just lagging a bit. We are already in enter. So okay, so that is name, and we can also say like let mm, bb something like a number, or we can say g is equal to, I mean, if I say let x, this is actually what see, I cannot see. If I say like test, I actually declared a variable, but I didn't initialize any value to it. This is in actually declared state, but value doesn't initialize, and I can initialize the value here, something like test some stupid stuff. Okay, just like that. So, okay. So here we declared it, and here we are initializing it with some value. Console.log x, and I will console.log some other stuff as well. Console. This is, um, yeah. Okay, this is the basics. That's why I mean, some people might feel uncomfortable going through the basics again, and you have to bear with me. I mean, I'm sorry for it because like we have to go through the basics anyways. So this is the everything is printed here, right? The name, the integer is printed here, and everything is printed here. So what the next thing we have to go through is like in comments, we can write the comments just like any other language. We can write the comments using write the comments using double slash. This will comment out this line, and it will not print anything. I mean, this line will be ignored. And if I try to print this b, I will be having some kind of error. The error will be what? Why is it? Why is it giving? I have. Okay, see, there is the B is not defined. B is not defined. We know that it is not defined because we have commented it out. So that is how we can use the comments. And so coming on to variable, we have covered variables so far, and so we will be having constants. The other thing is constant. If I say B is a constant, and if I say b is equal to 1, this will be constant. If I say p equal to 34 something in the code again, and this will actually trigger some error, which is like let me see. Assignment to constant variable. I mean, like I said, b is a constant variable, and I cannot actually change it because it is a constant. It will remain as a constant. If I try to manipulate this constant, it will change. It will affect it. But if I try to change a variable, it actually works. I mean, let a equal to something like a equal to 1. I say in the beginning, and if I say a equal to 45, will this work? Yes, this actually works. I think. I mean, I'm not sure what is happening. B is not fine. Who is calling B? Okay. B. Okay. This should work. Okay, see, I actually changed the value of A. I initially said it is actually interpreting line by line. Okay, so I initially said that let A be let A equal to 1. Then I said let A. I changed the value of A to some sort of something else like 45. And now when you print A, it is giving this value, but it doesn't happens with const. If A was a const, and if I tried to manipulate A, it will give us error. That is difference between const and this thing. And the other way is like var. Var is also same as let, and let was introduced in some year later, like 2015 or something. Var was what previously known as like. I mostly use let only. So like there is not much of a difference between let and var, and there should be something, but I'm not that genius to know the difference. So okay, so basically, you don't need to care about it. So we'll be using let only. Okay, so that is variables, and we will be having operators. Just like so, I have to go through. So I have to go through this basics because that is how we learn a language, right? So okay, I will go through some maths here, basic maths. Not I will say b equal to let b equal to 34. I want to add this a plus b. What we do is like just like any other language, I can add like a plus b. This is something. This is actually adding the value, but I have to return the value, right? So I have to store it some in some variable. I'm storing this in a variable named num, sum, and actually I have to print it. So what I can do is like I can do console.log. Oh shit. Console.log sum. And if I print this thing, I will be getting the value a added with b, and the result will be stored in the variable. And you can see like this thing, right? Whatever is in the present, the right is the value, and this thing is a variable. So whatever is added will be given to the left side. Okay. So the what happened? So now I'll be getting the value of the sum, like 79. 35 plus it is 79. It must be 79 because I'm not going to question the computer. So I can perform. It's like addition. We can say subtraction, like minus. Just the basics things. Like you can go through it in your free time. You can actually refer something like MDN, which is like Mozilla Developer Network. They have a beautiful web docs. You can go through all those things. You can learn, dive deep into JavaScript over there, or you can rely something like try something like W3 schools or anything, any resources to learn JavaScript. So we will be going through all the operators and everything. Not going through all the operators. So we have some kind of other operators like if I have assigned the value of a to 1 here, and if I say a plus plus, what it does is it actually increments the value of 1. Okay. So if I print the value of a here, I will be I will be getting I will be getting what? 2. I must get 2. I got 2 here, right? You can see the 2 here. Let me clear the console for that. Okay, I got that is like increment operator. We have discussed addition, subtraction, increment. What we have is like multiplication. Okay, so this thing is same as like what you can simply use asterisk here, which is what is asterisk means like the star. And if I say a star b, it must see. Will this work actually? I have declared A here, and I am saying that A star B here, which means like A multiplied by B to be like I'm assigning it to some variable, and I'm saying like this thing, and I'm giving the value of B here only. I'm not saying it before the multiplication. Only after the multiplication, I'm saying giving the value of B. So will this work? Let us actually try it. What is I'm actually having a new keyboard, so I'm not familiar. This is like too tiny, so I'm unable to type it like how I used to do it. So that's see, we cannot do it because what is the thing? Cannot access B before initialization. B was not initialized. we try to call B before initializing it. So that is why it is end up like compiling or interpreting line by line. So we have to actually move it before doing it. Now this will work. That is it. And some, and we have some operations like modulo, which is like this thing. Modulo gives the remainder, okay, and that is like basic things like operators. Okay, okay. The other thing is like this is assigning operators. Equal to is assigning. I'm assigning the value 1 to the variable A. But how am I going to check the value? I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to declaring A, but I'm going to say let B, like, see, if I want to say B equal to A, this is actually giving, this is what this is actually doing is like, this is giving the value of A to B. But if I say double equal to, what it is saying is like, this is, these both are equal. Okay, this is actually pretty different. And A equal to 1 means value of A is 1, but B equal to A is like, these both are equal. And if I will like, if I say like, if B equal to A, console.log, don't worry about it if you don't know. Okay, so I'll say both equal, both equal. And but okay, let me give the value of B. I'm giving the value of B to 3. Okay, what is it? If, okay, see, this is if conditions. We have conditionals. This is how we write conditionals in JavaScript. Just like any other language, we can say like the if is a keyword. Okay, if something happens, do something. Like if B equal to A, which means like if B is equal to the same value of A, then console this thing. Then print this to the thing to the console. If this is not equal to the value of if B is not equal to the value of A, then don't print, then it will return nothing. That is what happening here. And if I assign B to be 1, then now both values are equal, and if I return it, it will say both equal. So this is like if statements, and I will go through it. I will explain it further. I mean, 1 second. uh, we have to go through actually conditionals, right? We have discussed mathematics, data types. We discussed about data types, no, right? We have, these are the data types we have. Like let me see. The data types we have is like number, big in Boolean. I mean string, number, begin, Boolean, undefined, null, symbol, object. Object is something. We will cover all these data types. Don't worry about it. Data types are really crucial in the language because it's what matters. So, okay. So we were discussing about like conditionals. Conditionals are something which actually we use a lot of functions. We use a lot of variables. We use a lot of these conditions. We use everything in everything when we need it. I'm saying that if something happens, I have to do something. If that doesn't happen, I have to do some kind of logic. If that too doesn't happen, I have to perform some other thing. And if any of this happen, I will perform something. This is what we are saying. If this happens, I will say, if that doesn't happen, what I have to print? I have to say console.log. I'm using console.log a lot. So not equal, not equal. If the value of b is not equal, it will say like, it will execute the else loop, else condition only. Not equal, saying it's saying not equal, right? So that is conditionals. And okay, it has one more thing. If this is like, if this doesn't happen, do this thing. And we have L if. I mean, In Python we call it like elif. So here it we call it like else if, I think. Else, yeah, else if only. So if B is not equal to A, else if what could be the condition? No. Okay. I can say like B greater than, okay. Else if the condition should be written here, okay? Actually, the keyword should be here, and the condition should be inside the bracket here over here, and whatever to be happen should be written inside this curly bracket. Okay, so I'm writing the condition. If B is not equal to A, then what could be? If B is less than A, I have to say B is less than A. Some don't care about what I'm writing here. These are stupid things, but mm, I'm saying B is less than A. Okay. So and what if I also have to say, okay, if the condition, like one condition should be B equal to A, one must be B less than A, then the only condition left is B greater than A. And if both of these thing is not right, then it must be greater than A. Greater than A. Okay. Okay. And in this in our condition, B is actually greater than A. So this condition should work. Let us actually execute the command. To execute it, we can simply say node and name of the file. It is saying, what is, I didn't save it, guys. It is greater than it. Okay. So to run this command, actually if only you have to be in the same directory level. Okay. If your terminal is opened in some other directory and if you try to run node main.js, you cannot do it. You have to, after the command node, you have to say the path. You have to give the path to the file where it is residing. Okay. I hope it is. If you are not familiar with terminal or git or git commands, ping that in the Discord. I will like take a session on that thing as well. Like we have a lot of cool things to do in the terminal. We can create directories here. We can move to directories here. And a lot of stuff can be done here, which is very actually essential. You should know it. Even if you don't, you can just go to YouTube and search for it. So, and the next thing, the main thing we have to discuss is we have only 4 minutes left, right? So I think we will discuss function basics and then we will talk about what you have discussed as a web. So the next thing is function. Function is very essential because I will tell you why we need function a lot. So in the way we can write function is like we have a keyword function, and I can say like this is going to be a function. What is a function? I'm going to write a function to add two numbers. Why do we need functions? The functions are something in which we write some code, and whenever we need to do that function, we just simply call it. I mean, imagine like we have to do do some kind of task which we will repeatedly use, but we will change the values. Something like if we had to add two numbers, we will be defining it as a function. Then the next time we want to add it, we will just simply call the name of the function and we will pass the values we want to add. Okay. And if we okay, thing is here we know we are statically giving the value a and b, then we can add it a plus b. But what if we want to actually add some other number instead of 1 and 3? There we are going to use function. So function has a keyword function, and we will give the name of the function, which is here in this case num, and how many variables or arguments it is going to take. Arguments are like here it is going to take two arguments, which is like a and b. And what this function does is simply it is going to do the same thing. It is going to just add what the, it's going to say a plus b. This function is pretty simple. This is gonna do what? This is gonna add this thing. Not, I can actually say simply I can return it. I don't have to return a plus b. What this function is doing? This is a function. It's actually adding these two variables and returning the value. And if I call this function, I have to pass actually two values. Am I going to value pass a and b here? No, I'm going to actually pass the value. Pass the value which is like the value which I want to add. And if I call it, you can say, okay, it is Oh shit, 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 shit. I'm gonna calling this function inside this console.log. I'm actually calling this function only. Okay, don't care about console.log. Let's see what happens. So let's see what happens. See, it is returning the value of 7. Okay. Uh, so that is basically a function, but where we actually in real life where we actually use functions everywhere, everywhere. Like you might have a login function when two users actually enter the value input field like the username and password. You are actually want to check whether this user is already present in the database, and that will be we will write some function to check it, and we will call it that where we need it, and we might have some function to when okay, simply this is like some random topic. Okay, don't care about it. Like when we actually log into facebook.com, I mean I will just simply open it if it's needed. No, see if I say Facebook login, don't mind it. Like if I say Facebook login, you can say I can input my email here and password here and pressing the login button. This is actually some kind of JavaScript code is going to happen. This is listening to what I'm writing here, what I'm writing here, and when I click this button, this is calling some API to the Facebook backend using JavaScript. Okay, using JavaScript, and it is returning the data. What it does is like taking this data and giving this data to the backend, and backend is doing some data and doing something with the data and returning the result to the client. Okay, so why I discuss? Okay, the thing is like login is a function actually. The function will be like when a user enters a password and username and password, check retrieve the name of the retrieve the user with this user ID and retrieve his password from the database and check whether he actually entered the right password. At the time of sign in, when we pass the password, it will be hashed. It will be hashed and stored in the database. So at the time of login, when we try to login, this password will be in the state of hashed state. Okay, hashed means some random values. So we will take that password from the database related to this user, and then we will dehash it. We will convert it to the normal thing, and with it will compare with the what we have entered. And if both of this thing matches, we will access this user to the page. We will do this thing. We will actually do perform an actual login. We will perform a full-fledged web app through this course. I mean, consistency is what matters. I I strongly believe you guys will stick on to this thing. You actually don't need to wait till somebody to teach you something. You can actually go explore things by yourself. Don't need to wait for the next class. You can go ahead and try it out by yourself. It's completely thing. That's how you learn. And I think I'm just I'm mostly done with what I have to say and take in this class. So you guys have any questions? I'm open to queries. I know I have talked a bit faster, and I will try to reduce the pace next time. And you guys are open to like please open like unmute the mic. It's okay. I mean there is nothing happening here other than you can also use the Discord thing to discuss. Okay, you have to come there and discuss, and you can even if you have some kind of app idea in your mind, go ahead and build it. That's how you learn it. If you don't need to learn know something to build something. You have to know that I want to build this thing. That's how I started things. I have some ideas. I had some ideas, and I wanted to build that idea. For that, I learned whatever is in for that. So likewise, you can if you are building something or whatever you have idea in your mind, you can tinker with it and you can ask about doubts in the Discord. You can come engage there, and you don't need to consider this like a typical thing because you are not here for a attend a course. This is not a course. This is some kind of project, right? You open to questions. You can ask if you want.
I'm audible.
Yeah, you're audible.
So actually, when writing the code, you have used semicolon for some lines, but not for every lines. So is it
Yeah.
necessary to use it or not?
No, it is not. It is not necessary in JavaScript. It is not necessary, but in some languages it is necessary. I was like, in Python we don't use semicolons, but in JavaScript, even if we use the semicolon or doesn't use semicolon, it doesn't matter. But it is some kind of convention, like people use it, right? And C semicolon is mandatory, right? in C and Java. And so here it doesn't matter whether you write it or you ignore it. No, no change.
Okay, thank you.
Any questions? Okay, I was so sorry. I forgot to share the this thing like sorry, I forgot to share the uh, attendance sheet. Just don't leave, okay? Please, I will share it. One second, one second. I actually don't have the link. Okay, that is the thing. Hey, Logesh, can you share the attendance link with me? I don't have it. Hello. Can you share the link? Attendance sheet link. Uh, I- Okay, this is the link. Okay, you can we install Node.js in VS Code? No, you actually Yeah, no, the thing is like you are installing Node.js in your machine, not in VS Code. VS Code is some kind of just a text editor. You can actually write code in Notepad if you want, but I don't tell you to do it. Like you can write code in VI or Vim if you are comfortable with it. Anywhere you can write the code. But Node.js is actually an engine to compile this JavaScript. It should be installed in your machine. You have to install it in your machine. And okay, you might have confused with this terminal, which means this one. I mean, where is it, man? It should come. I have a terminal here, right? It should be uh, open the terminal, man. This might sucks. Oh, I don't know why it is happening. But you have one. We have one terminal in our machine. We have another terminal in the what thing like this VS Code. Okay, both are the same thing. The terminal in the VS Code and the terminal in the machine is both the same thing. Even if you use the Java VS Code terminal to install the JavaScript, install the Node.js, it will be installed in your machine only. So if your question was, can I use the VS Code to install it? Yes, you can use it. But you're not actually installing it inside the VS Code. You're actually installing it in your machine only. Terminal is something to access the system resources. VS Code is giving you inbuilt terminal, which is actually using your system resources and system directories and everything. So similarly, the other thing as well. I think I have talked too much. Do you guys have any questions? We will be finishing this call at 9:40. Mm, yeah. I mean, if you don't have any questions, anything you can ask. I mean, it's fine. Chill. So I assume that you understood at least what I said, right? If not, you can. I'm open to criticism. Like if you guys have any kind of things to say, you can say it. Like I just wanted to know how it was, like how what you understood and what you didn't, so that I can improve next time. Nothing, right? So chill. If you guys have nothing to ask, you can leave. And you guys have you guys need meeting like homeworks, right? I mean, we don't have some kind of. I didn't prepare any kind of homework, but I will give you something interesting to do as a homework, and I will try to put the code in my GitHub, and I will give you the GitHub link. And if you want to go ahead and check it out. So that's it. See you guys in the next class. If you guys, and I don't know who's going to take the next class, but yeah, thanks for joining. And any questions, any queries, you can come and ask in the Discord. I will be answering you. And if you mention me, I'll be answer. So anything, I wait.
Thanks, sir.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.
Thanks, sir.